Hi, you guys. This is Natalie, and today I am cutting up lots and lots of fabric for the Ginger Quilter Box in July. And I thought this would be a fun opportunity for me to show you guys how I cut up a bolt of fabric. It's a little bit unique. Maybe it's not. I don't know. This is how I cut the fabric. So I am cutting up this bolt of fabric right here. The lighting is a little bit of a bummer. It's just the truth of my workspace here. I've got a ceiling fan right here that shines really bright down here, and then that's the only light for the whole room. So, anyways, I hope you guys are having a great Saturday, and I want to make sure my mic. Yep, I got a green light, so we're good. Okay, so to start, what I do is I pull out the bolt if it will let me. Sometimes it won't let me. And I think this one won't let me. Oh, no, we got lucky. Okay, so ready? We're going to pull the bolt out. So that means we got lucky. And I throw the bolt in the corner. You guys might have seen my post earlier this week about how I have like over 100 empty bolts of fabric that I need to recycle. Well, the story is I was supposed to put them out on Wednesday, and I got them out at like 8:45 on Wednesday morning. Well, it turns out my recycling guy had come by at 8:15. So I missed recycling again this week. So anyways, bummer. Okay, but I'm going to talk to you about the fabric. So I have pulled the bolt out of the fabric. I think this bolts of fabric come in 15 yards, but when you order in bulk, sometimes they don't always ship them in 15. They might come in like 11 or 13 yards, but it's usually a lot of fabric. So I have my floppy bolt here, and I stick my hands in like this, okay? And I unroll it by flicking my hands to make it unroll. Just like that. And I unroll the whole thing. So I have a big blob of fabric here now. I find my two ends. Here we go. My two ends. And now I keep my two ends in my hand so I don't lose those two ends. And I'm going to line up my folded edges straight. So I keep my the folded edges flat. Okay? So now I'm going to put those over there so those don't get messed up. Are you with me still? So we're working with 2 layers of the folded fabric. Okay. So now I'm going to keep lining up my folded edges again. And if I wanted to, I could just start cutting from here and just be working with 2 layers every time. And that would help me go twice as fast, right? But twice as fast isn't fast enough for me. So I'm going to show you how I do 4 times as fast. I do 4 layers of fabric at a time. And if I'm doing fat quarters, that would be 8 fat quarters per cut because I cut the centers on the fold. But in this case, I am not cutting those centers on the fold. And so it's going to just be the full width of the fabric. So I'm doing 4 at a time here. Does that make sense? All you fabric people? Let's see. Jonica hopped on. Hey, Jonica, and hey, Amy. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Just to catch up, I'm showing everybody how I fold my fabric 4 cuts at a time. How I cut my fabric 4 cuts at a time. So what I did here is I matched up my straight edges, my folded edges, all the way till the end. So I'm going to take this corner and put it back over to the beginning where I matched up my edges in the first place. Does that make sense? So now I've essentially folded 15 yards of fabric in half and then in half again. So now I have my 4 layers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now I'm going to match up all those folded edges again. And now it does sometimes feel like you're wrestling an alligator to get all this fabric to cooperate at the same time. But when I do that, it really does save me time. So now down at the edge where I'm cutting down here, I got to make sure that I'm working with straight edges, and one of them is a little bit off. So I'm going to go square that up, following the lines of my cutting mat. All right, so now we're square. I just have a pile of scraps over here. And I'm going to line up my folded edges again. Make sure we're all lined up with our 4 layers. Now you can see I don't have it perfectly flat over here. That's because it's just too much to flatten everything without it all falling on the floor. So I just keep it on the table kind of crumpled for a minute and just work with about an arm's width of fabric that I make sure is nice and flat and ready to cut. Okay, so here we go. Today I'm cutting 13.5-inch strips, which is kind of a strange measurement. Normally we're like only doing fat quarters or half yards, but today it's 13.5 because that's what the pattern calls for. So there we go. So I just cut it and I got 1, 2, 3, and 4 layers all cut all at once. So I can cut a bolt of fabric. I haven't timed myself recently, but I can cut probably a bolt of fabric up in about 5 or 10 minutes. And that keeps my production nice and quick. So I do have employees who help me cut my fabric, but sometimes, like this month, it was getting late in the month. One of my employees had a business trip for her other job, and so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to cut it this month. So this month, you're getting fabric cut from me. So Amy says, kind of like folding a sheet. Yes, a really, really big sheet, big, heavy sheet. So anyway, so I'll cut another row here, making sure I line up. Now, if you've never counted in 13.5 intervals, it gets a little confusing. So what I do is I'll find 10. So right now my edge is on 38. I'm going to line up on 38 right here. So here's the 38-inch mark here. So I'm going to go down 10 to 28, and then I do 3, and then I add a half so that I know I'm not screwing up the numbers. Because if I just tried to like figure it out just by simple addition, I would screw it up every time. So anyways, there you go. That's how I do it. That's how the fabric gets cut over here, and then I put it in a big pile and I fold it up and put it in plastic bins. I'll show you those. We have loads of plastic bins here, and the different sizes just because I've collected different bins here and there. But so this is 40 cut pieces that I need, and then right now we pack about 200 boxes every month, and so for every fabric that I have to cut or my employees have to cut, I cut at least 200 of them. So anyways, that's just a little behind the scenes. I was already doing it today, so I thought I would just hop on and show you guys how it works. And thank you everybody for watching, and have a great weekend. I'll talk to you guys soon.